Hello everyone, and welcome to a very odd YouTube video. I had this idea to make a YouTube video and play Minecraft and also talk about random things while I play. I remembered that I had an old Minecraft world that I started. I then speedran it and then stopped playing it. So what I will do is pick up from where I left it and start this video. My plans for today is to return back to spawn, then create a house to, well, start things off. Now, I don't really know what to talk about, since making this video is very random. So instead, I will read random unpopular opinions just from Reddit. Starting things off, we have the first Reddit post that I've found. It goes as follows. Winter is only fun if you're rich or well off. Every year, people talk about how much they love winter. Cozy blankets, sweaters, coffee, all that aesthetic stuff. But honestly, winter only feels nice if you have money. If you've got room heaters, geysers in every bathroom, thick blankets, and warm clothes, of course you'll find it cozy. But if you don't, winter is just painful. Your skin hurts, your nose keeps running, and even simple stuff like bathing or going to class feels like a whole task. Most middle and lower income families don't have heating systems or well-insulated homes. And I can't even imagine how poor people survive in this freezing weather. Winters are really tough when you don't have the luxury to enjoy them. People romanticize winter way too much. It's only magical when you can afford comfort. Yeah, so that's a very, I think, ironic first post, because I'm a Finnish person, and in Finland, we're well equipped to handle the winter. Even for lower class households, we have well-insulated homes and house heating and, well, everything that you need to survive the winter. So, I'm quite biased in this case, but I can totally see where this post is coming from. I definitely understand how people in other countries, especially lower income households, might struggle. I think I will start by making my house over there. The Christmas that we see in movies and especially on social media is definitely romanticized and influenced a lot by having a lot of money. I can definitely see how lower income families can struggle with paying heating or buying decorations for Christmas. And when you think about it, Christmas is the time of giving. So when you're already struggling with those things, giving gifts is gonna be quite hard and might even be something that you skip out on, or at least make it a low priority. Now, I'm not saying gifts should be expensive, but usually when you buy gifts for a whole family, that's gonna be quite expensive. Then, if you don't have any heating and you're freezing throughout the winter, I can definitely see how the winter is a struggle and Christmas, the whole Christmas vibe, is quite ruined. Now, I wouldn't say this unpopular opinion is bad, but I do agree that winter is most likely more fun for rich people. But that goes with anything. If you're rich, you're probably gonna have a lot more fun doing anything. I'm also not saying that you cannot have fun in winter if you don't have a lot of money. I feel like you can still enjoy winter, just differently from how rich people do it. Now, I hope we're gonna have a nice Christmas, whether or not we're rich or poor. Anyways, let's get on to the next post. So, here's the next post. If turkey was so delicious, like some people swear by, then they'd cook it more than just once or twice per year. People swear their turkey is the best, and that's all they talk about around this time of the year. If it was that good, then I don't understand why they only cook it during or around this season, even if it's a lot of work. I just don't really get the rave about it. I think this post is really interesting because I know we all have that one food that is so good we could eat it every day, but for some reason we just don't do it. I think there's a lot of good reasons as to why we don't cook turkey every week instead of just once or twice per year. It could be because the turkey is expensive or that it's just a lot of work. Now, I don't usually cook turkey, so I don't really know how expensive it is to buy turkey from the store. But I feel like there's another reason as to why we don't cook turkey more often. I think the bigger reason is that if we make good and delicious food every day, I feel like we would get used to the delicious food and that would make it less delicious. It's the same as not eating chocolate for a long time and then after that long time you eat a bit of chocolate and it's just gonna be so good. This has happened to me quite a lot because I don't eat chocolate or candy that much. But when I do, they taste so much better than if I would be eating it every week. I wouldn't call this an unpopular opinion, but it's more like we don't eat this food often and instead save it for special occasions. Of course, there's nothing that stops you from cooking turkey every week, for example, but I feel like it's better to leave it for special occasions just to make the food taste that much better. As I'm reading here, there's a lot of commenters that saying the exact same thing, that they leave it for special occasions, even though they can have a good turkey sandwich. It's just not the same as eating turkey on a special occasion. Anyways, let's move on to the next post. Here is the next post. Paying it forward is a passive-aggressive chain that pressures strangers into spending money they didn't plan on. I hate getting roped into those paid-forward chains at the drive-thru. It's supposed to be this feel-good, wholesome thing, but honestly, it just makes me tense up. Here's the deal. When the cashier tells me the person in front paid for my $6 latte, my first thought isn't, wow, how nice. It's, crap, now I have to buy the next guy's order. What if the next person has a car full of kids and orders $30 worth of food? Now I'm instantly out of pocket way more than I planned, and I feel like an absolute jerk if I break the chain. It takes what should be a simple transaction and turns it into this weird, escalating social pressure. If you really want to do something nice, just give the person a giant tip for the staff, or buy a gift card for someone who is actually struggling. Don't make a stranger your proxy for charity and force them to play a game they didn't sign up for. I'd rather just pay for my own coffee and feel good about it instead of being coerced into buying a stranger's breakfast burrito. Yeah, so I feel like this post is actually very interesting. Even though this thing is usually something that, as far as I know, happens only in America, it's very interesting to hear it talked about. And I would hate going to a drive-thru if it's gonna make me tense up. I feel like a paid forward chain isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just how it is handled that is the problem. And as the OP said, what if the next person has a car full of kids and orders $30 worth of food? And in this case, you didn't plan on spending $30 extra. Which is why I feel like it's handled quite badly. If you feel like it's a social pressure, you should instead ask what the person's order is, or how large it is, or how much it's gonna cost. And then using that, choose whether or not to actually pay it forward or break the chain. And there should absolutely not be an obligation to keep the paid forward chain going forward. I feel like instead you should take a step back and realize that no one's gonna actually check if you paid it forward or not. So yeah, you didn't sign up for the paid forward chain, but you're absolutely not in the wrong for breaking it because you don't want to spend money on a stranger. Unfortunately, I cannot really talk out of experience on this one because in Finland, this is not something that happens. We rarely care about spending money on other people. And then when you look at it, the paid forward chain could have started in a very good way. Someone had a good day and they decided to pay the next person's order. But then that suddenly started a chain and now there's someone dealing with $30 worth of extra spending. Anyways, let's move on to the next post. The next post goes as follows. Mustaches do not look good. Guys, what are we doing? They look ridiculous. There's exactly 3 guys in the past 50 years that looked good with a stash. Rick Rude, Tom Selleck, and Stephen Kelly. And 2 of them were on steroids. Everyone else looks like a tryhard or a goofball with one. Especially with the recent influx of sexual slang terms for mustaches, having one also adds a sexual creepiness to your aesthetic. Let's get back to beards, goatees, stubble, etc. It's just not working. Ooh, okay, so I like this post. Firstly, I gotta say, I do not know what this means by sexual slang terms for mustaches. Maybe I'm just not cultured enough in mustaches, but I don't know what it means. Anyways, I feel like mustaches are very situational and also something that's very hard to get right. You have to have a good outfit that matches with your mustache, and then you have to have a good hairstyle that also matches with your mustache. Otherwise, I feel like the mustache might look out of place. And in worst case, adds a sexual creepiness to your aesthetic. Which I feel like is quite sad for some people that try to grow a mustache and the only thing that it does is, well, add sexual creepiness to their aesthetic. Now, I'm not an expert with mustaches. I do have one, but I'm not like the most fanciest guy. I only keep it well trimmed and that's about it. So take my word with a grain of salt. I can definitely see how a lot of people try and grow a mustache and it looks ridiculous just because maybe they have bad genetics or they don't really know how to take care of a mustache or grow it properly. And that's where this opinion comes from, where mustaches do not look good. As with anything aesthetic related, the art is in the eyes of the beholder, so you be the judge if mustaches look good or bad. Personally, I feel like it's very situational. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you think mustaches are good or not. Unfortunately, we didn't get the house quite finished yet, but I'm gonna leave this video here. This video isn't super long, but it's more like a test to see if you guys find this interesting. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, be sure to leave it in the comments and I will take a look at it. But yeah, if you think this is interesting, go and like this video. If you think it's even more interesting, go and subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.